public stand.
Tonight, we bring you the heartbreaking, true Hollywood story of Hamlet. We chronicle Hamlet's fall from the top as Prince of Denmark to a crazed man set out on his path for revenge, concluding with his tragic death. Hamlet was on the path to stardom in the world of princes, having recently vacationed with Prince William and Kate Middleton in the south of France. But then, Hamlet's life took a tragic turn for the worse. His beloved father, King Hamlet, was found murdered. Hamlet's life began to spin out of control. He was arrested for cocaine possession 2 weeks after and subsequently released on bail. His mother moved on quickly from King Hamlet's death, marrying the former king's brother, Claudius. He abandoned his longtime love interest Ophelia and was recently spotted at events with women at his side, such as the lovely Blake Lively, Mila Kunis, and even Lindsay Lohan. Hamlet drove Ophelia to madness after murdering her father. Over the years, he has caught up with Hamlet many times, and we have composed many of these clips into this broadcast. When I recently learned of Hamlet's tragic death, I felt compelled to deliver to our viewers a dramatic portrayal of the real life of him.
Hamlet was a good son, but he took the death of his father very hard, and that drove him to madness. Furthermore, he wasn't very fond of my newfound love for his uncle.
Hamlet was a good nephew to me, but he could not handle his father's death. He was very feminine about that.
I loved Hamlet, even though I was forbidden from seeing him by my father. I went mad when he left me.
I wasn't very fond of Hamlet's relationship with my sister, and my hatred towards him grew stronger after he went insane.
I sat down with Hamlet a while back to discuss the recent death of his father, the King of Denmark. Thanks for joining me today, Hamlet. I know you've been very busy lately following the tragic death of your father. If it's alright with you, I'd love to ask you a few questions. Do you mind, Hamlet?
Not at all.
How are you doing after the death of your father?
I'm alright. I was quite distraught after his death, and everyone else only seemed to care about my uncle at the time.
How do you feel about your mother moving on so quickly with a new husband after the death of your father and to your uncle? What's up with that?
I find it kind of up that my recently widowed mother was able to move on so quickly, especially to my uncle.
How has the death of your father affected you, Hamlet?
Personally, I've been quite depressed, and I've been wearing a lot of black because it reflects my inner sadness.
Do you miss your father?
Of course I miss my father. He was a great dad and an even better king, which is more than I can say for my uncle.
If he was alive today, what advice would he give you?
I think he would tell me I was right in handling his death, and I hope he would give me some insight in the suspicious circumstances which surrounded his death.
Well, that about wraps this interview up. Thank you for your time, Hamlet, and for some insight into the death of your father, the former beloved King of Denmark.
Thank you.
A few days after I interviewed the young Prince Hamlet, I caught up with his uncle, the newly crowned King Claudius, and his mother, Queen Gertrude, and they offered me a little different perspective from their point of view of how things went down. So let's see what they had to say. Thank you, Queen Gertrude and King Claudius, for coming in to talk to us about the death of your husband and brother, respectively, King Hamlet.
We just want to tell our side of the story, that's all.
First, I would like to ask the two of you about your recent marriage. Can you offer us just a little insight into this recent marriage? The timing was a little weird. Why'd you do it?
Do you mean how soon it was after my husband's death?
Yes.
Well, after the death of my husband, it was Claudius who took care of me and my son, and I quickly fell in love with him. Marriage was the next logical step.
I agree, plus she has the body of a goddess.
Okay, moving on. How did the two of you get over the death of King Hamlet so quickly after losing someone you both loved and cared for?
Well, it's true that I care for my brother, and however, how unfortunate his death may be, I believe it is necessary for myself, Gertrude, Hamlet, and the kingdom to carry on.
Exactly. Even though I love my husband, life goes on.
How do you think Hamlet feels about your guys' relationship?
Hamlet's very upset.
He's a pussy.
How do you guys feel about the relationship between Hamlet and Ophelia?
Ophelia's a nice girl. I think Hamlet really likes her.
When in Rome.
Thanks for coming in and doing this interview. Best of luck in the future.
So what we get So what, we smoke weed, we're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
Shrooms are so good. Tripping balls.
Hamlet, lay down the shrooms, drop the beer. Listen to me. The hour has almost come when I must return to the horrible flames of purgatory.
Oh, poor ghost.
Don't pity me, just listen carefully to what I have to tell you.
I am.
You must be ready to take revenge when you hear my tale.
Huh?
I am the ghost of your father, who for a certain period of time to walk the earth at night, while during the day I'm trapped in the fires of purgatory until I've done my penance for my past sins. If I weren't forbidden to tell you the secrets of purgatory, I could tell you stories which would slice through your soul, freeze your blood, make your eyes jump out of their sockets and your hair stand up thin like cords upon the coils. But mortals like you are not allowed to hear this description of the afterlife. Listen, listen. If you ever loved your poor dear father,
I did.
take revenge for his horrible murder.
Murder?
Crime against nature. His most horrible murder. Murder is always horrible, but this one's special, horrible, strange, and unnatural.
Tell me.
I'm glad you're eager, Hamlet. You have to be lazy to not get right up here. Now listen. Everyone was told that poisonous thing made me while I was sleeping in the orchard. But in fact, that is a lie. That's told everyone in Denmark. You should know, my noble son, the real snake that hit me is now wearing my crown.
My uncle?
Yes, and justice indulged me as Hamlet with his clever words and fancy gifts. He seduced my seemingly virtuous queen, persuading her to give into his lust. They were evil words and gifts to seduce her like that. Oh, Hamlet, how far she has fallen. She went from me who loved her with dignity and devotion, and since a legitimate marriage to a wretch whose natural gifts was poor compared to mine. But just as you can't corrupt a true virtuous person no matter how hard you try, the opposite is also true. A lustful person like her can satisfy herself in the heavenly union and move on to garbage. But hang on, I think I smell the morning air, so let me be brief here. Your uncle snuck up on me while I was sleeping in the orchard, as I always used to do in the afternoons. He poured a vial of henbane poison in my ear, that poison that moves like quicksilver in the veins, and kernels of light. Which is just what it did to me. I broke out in the scalar ash that covered my smooth body with a bolted crust. And that's how my brother robbed me of my life, my crown, and my queen, all at once. He cut me off in the middle of a sinful life.
I'll get revenge, Father! I'll fuck shit up! Oh!
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face.
Hamlet's life has been spinning out of control, which is further evident by his recent drug-related arrest.
You can't replace.
And then, Hamlet mistakenly killed Polonius in a drunken and drug-infused maddened rage, mistaking him for Claudius, who he wants to kill to get revenge for the death of his father.
Lights will guide
After an epic beer pong battle, including tainted and poisoned cups, Laertes and Hamlet have both perished in the battle. It was a great battle. Neither man could come out on top, and both have died in the act.
Fix you.
Thanks for joining us for this E! True Hollywood Story special on the life of Hamlet. Please join us next week as we profile the life of Marcel from The Stranger, and his rise from whatever he was to his fall in the trial of whatever happened to him. Don't really remember that book, Mrs. Mirabella.
Never know just what you were.